Traveler and Paimon, good to see you. I knew you two would come.
Are you kidding? We wouldn't miss it for the world! We've been looking forward to it!
I can tell, judging by how early you've arrived. But you're actually right on time. The audience still hasn't started entering the venue yet, which means now is the perfect chance for us to take you to the best seats in the house. Wait just a moment, I'll fetch the tickets. The Opera House has assigned seating, so you always have to make reservations. I've already reserved your seats, and here are your tickets.
Ooh, front row seats! Thanks, Linny!
Don't mention it. There's no need to keep thanking me.
Hey, Lenny! Could you come over here and take a look at this?
Oh, I'll be right there. Seems there's an issue with the stage props over there. That's Cal, my assistant, calling me. I'll go lend him a hand.
Yeah, we'll just go to our seats. You go ahead. Oh, these should be our seats. Come on, let's sit down. Hey, Traveler. Maybe we should strike up a conversation with the person next to us. Since, you...
Excuse me, I did not realize you felt awkward. I am terribly sorry. I would be perfectly happy to chat with you.
Oh, so you heard all of that? Wait, that's not it, Paimon's. Sorry. Paimon's the one who was being rude, talking under her, Oh, Paimon's got it.
A friend, you say? Well, if Mr.
Oh, so you're not friends with Linny, then. Nice to meet you. Paimon is Paimon, and this is the Traveler. We just arrived.
It is an honor to meet you two. I have heard, and as required by proper etiquette, I will also introduce myself.
Oh, Monsieur Nervillet. What an honor it is to have you here to see my show.
Ah, Mr. Linny. I should say it is in fact an honor for me to see your performance.
Wait, Nervillet? Could he be...
I saw you all chatting just now, but it seems you still don't know who Monsieur Nervillet is. Allow me to introduce you to Fontaine's Chief Justice. That seat is always reserved for him. It wouldn't be too much to say that he's the
Whoa! Sorry for being so rude just now. Paimon had...
No offense taken. Being Chief Justice is merely what I do for work. Nearly every person has their usual reserved seat, so... And by the way, I should probably let you know, even though I would prefer... There's someone sitting up there in the VIP seats that has been striking a pose for quite a while. I believe she is trying to give you a most elegant and impressive first impression. So I think you should take notice of her sooner rather than later. Otherwise, she may become... flustered.
Huh? Oh, it's Farina, the Hydro Archon. Huh. She sure has a smug and satisfied look on her face. Guess she has no idea.
Very good. That is for the best. No need to pay her any more attention. We may now enjoy the show.
Huh? So is this what things are like between the Chief Justice and the Hydro Archon?
All right, please wait just a moment longer. I've pretty much finished my preparations, and the performance will start as soon as the audience has made their way to their seats.
Yay! The show's finally about to start! Ooh, they're dimming the lights! The show must be starting! Sorry. Paimon will try to...
Welcome, one and all, to the Opera Epicles. I am the star of today's show, Linny. And over here is my sister, Lynette, who will be working as my wonderful assistant. Please, let's give her a warm welcome.
Hello, everyone.
I know she may seem to be a little sleepy right now, but that's
Whatever.
Now, some of you may be thinking, two vision holders who can freely manipulate elemental powers performing magic is not so. I would like to take a moment to assure you that elemental powers will have no... Both Lynette and myself have removed our visions for the show. That way...
Oh, good point. That's what...
Now, without further ado, let the show begin. Lynette will now exit the stage to make some preparations. I know you might miss her, but don't worry. She'll be coming right back on stage momentarily. Perhaps in an unexpected way. Oh, and before I forget, you never know what can happen in the blink of an eye. A magician's greatest skill is making things disappear or appear. The possibilities are endless. Huh? But this isn't what you came for. These little tricks, you've seen them all before. So it's time for something truly extraordinary, don't you think? This one's a little tricky. Using this water tank, I shall make my sister vanish completely, right before your very eyes. It's actually quite simple. She'll just turn into air bubbles and float right out of the top. Oh no! I told them to check all the props carefully. With the lid on, even air can't escape. An amateur magician would be getting very nervous right around now. Luckily, it's me on stage, so let me show you what a true virtuoso can do. Lynette, are you still there? Don't go too far. We don't want to use up all our magic.
Hi, I'm back.
Uh-huh.
Whoa! What in the world just happened? Wasn't Lynette inside the water tank? How did she disappear and then reappear?
If we could see easily through his tricks, then that would mean that his skills are still lacking. To appreciate magic, you should focus on the show happening on stage, rather than...
Guess you're right. Paimon couldn't believe her eyes when Lynette...
Thank you everyone. But our magical journey has only... The magic of transformation and disappearance can go far beyond what you've just seen. I'm sure many of you are thinking that escaping the water tank, in which case, I have ample time to make all necessary... So, for my next trick, I will require the part... Please, if my assistants could... There are 2 boxes, and only 2 boxes. one is... I'm sure many of our clever audience members have already... Our lucky audience member and I will each enter a magic... Now please, everyone pay very close attention to the box you see here. Don't...
Wow! Hey, do you think this is all magic tricks, or does Lenny have actual super...
The lucky audience member will be generated by this random number select. It selects numbers entirely at random. Even... Now then, let's begin. Let me see... Oh, Rose, please, come forward. My assistant will take you I'm sorry, it might be a little cramped inside, but no need to feel nervous. We've carefully arranged everything for you to be as comfortable as possible. You don't need to do anything, but no matter what strange things may happen, don't come out of the box. If the magic is interrupted, who knows where you might end up? You might even find your...
Oh,
All right. Before I enter the magic box, they're like this. 60, 59, 58. I won't be able to see anything in the pitch black box, so... Oh, and no tricks now. If you quickly count from 60 in just 30 seconds, then I'll be in a tough spot.
ooh! Paimon kinda wants to count faster after hearing him say that!
No, that won't do. I can see it in your eye. Come on, repeat after me. 60, 59. That's right, perfect. Keep it going.
54, 53? Why aren't you counting, Nervalet?
I am counting in my head. I think things are merely a consequence of my identity and personality. Do not?
Oh, alright. You look so serious that Paimon thought you might be 40, 39!
Mr. Linney, are you all right in there?
Yes, I'm fine. I'm just double-checking. It would be a disaster if we get sent to the wrong places.
Even though he's saying that, Lenny doesn't seem nervous at all. Ah, what was that noise? Did you hear it too? Not sure. Anyway, it doesn't seem...
20! What's wrong, Mr. Linney? I can still...
I seem to have accidentally knocked over a decoration. I'm trying.
Never mind the decorations. There's no time for that.
No, that's unacceptable. I want my show to be perfect. 19! It seems things aren't quite going as... It feels like you're all starting to count faster, but that's all right. I know 10 seconds and change is still...
10!
Almost there now. Whew. Swapping two people is harder work than you might think. Even a master magician like me can't guarantee I'll get it right the first time. Hey, wait! Is this the back one? I can't tell. They both look the same inside. Huh? No, that's not it. I'll try again.
7!
Hey, slow down! Honestly!
5! 4! 3!
Whoops! That doesn't count!
0!
Ta-da!
What happened? Huh? Is this part of the show? Mr. Linney, you're going to use magic.
What happened?
Oh no. Maybe this isn't part of the show. The girl was still in that...
This performance is over. Medical staff with me. Guards, secure the scene and detain all the performers. Seal the exits. No one is allowed in or out at this time.
Yes, that's right. If this was just an accident, then we must investigate the cause. But if this was all part of some scheme, then...
No need to be alarmed, you two. We'll get to the... Unfortunately, the person who is in the magic box has been pronounced dead. His name. Apparently, the fireworks on stage ignited the ropes that were suspending the water tank. Which, as of now, we are still not sure why we found Cowl in the box. And after an initial search of the area, the guards have. It appears that this incident was not merely some mishap, and there are many indications that it is connected with the case of the serial.
That's the case that Charlotte mentioned before.
I know the truth. I say that our powerful magician, Mr. Linney, is now the prime suspect for the serial disappearances case.
Huh? Why me? This whole thing was an accident.
No, this all occurred during your magic show, did it not? The missing, now that I think about it, that whole speech about...
That can't be right. He was in the box on the stage the entire time. Besides, before the show, he told us that he would like to catch the criminal behind the
Save discussion for a later time, please. Lady Farina, may I assume that your comments just now constitute an accusation against Mr. Linney and his associates, and that you are pressing charges?
Huh? I just think...
But what Lady Farina said just now...
A kidnapping and murder carried out under the...
I mean, of course that's right. I mean you, traveler. You'll support... Then there's no problem. But with Linney's help, our little duel ended in a draw, so no more draws. Between the two of us, there must be a clear winner and loser.
It wasn't a draw.
I understand. Charges have Well, traveler, seems Lady Farina has set you in her sights. Are you willing to act as Mr. Linney's attorney and defend... Very well. The trial will be held a day from now in the Opera House. Both sides may investigate the scene to build their... Linney and his troupe are all potential suspects and shall remain within the Opera House. The audience may begin to leave in an orderly fashion once they...
A day isn't that long. Let's see what kind of case this...
Sorry about everything that happened.
Of course! Who wouldn't be
Yeah, I'm a little shaken up myself. I know you already claimed that you would defend me, but now it's just us talking. Tell me, good to hear. I'm sure everyone sees me as the biggest suspect at this point. I don't know whether what happened there on the stage was purely... As for how that girl chosen from the audience could suddenly disappear, even a skilled and knowledgeable magician like myself couldn't pull all that off in just 1 minute.
Which is precisely why we need to investigate. As this book says, the impossible could not have happened. Whatever happened must have been that which is possible. Paimon bought them when we were reading at the bookshop in the city earlier. Pretty cool, huh? Don't worry, Paimon used her own savings to buy them. It wasn't from our travel funds.
I think they look cute on you, Paimon.
You have good taste, Lynette.
That's the right attitude. But with the guards watching our every move, it's going to be especially difficult for Lynette and I to prove our... Good thing you agreed to be our attorneys.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah, just leave it to... since we're going to start investigating...
Oh, well...
The secrets behind our magic are past saving.
I suppose you're right. 'Tis truly a pity. As a magician, but if revealing our secrets will help you we should go somewhere else if we're going to discuss our magic tricks.
Alright, let's go have a look while the investigation teams are still here. Hello, officer. How's the investigation going?
I see. You must be the traveler that Lady Farina met.
Huh? What?
Come with me and you'll see. The deceased is one of Linney's assistants, named Cowl. Even though he hadn't joined the troupe, the assistants are usually in charge of setting up and inspecting. As you probably saw when you were in the audience, the water tank suddenly fell and smashed the box. This is the real mystery. We've already... However, if you look carefully, the box was positioned directly under the water tank. The ropes holding the tank were then burnt. All these factors lining up so perfectly makes it hard. If anything, the more logical explanation is that the whole incident was in...
But he doesn't have a motive.
Are you both good...
Well, you chance.
So in just a short time, he was not only able to win. I know there's no such thing as magic. I've seen a lot of cases. And I can tell you that people... sorry, I tend to be pretty straight. Anyway, you may investigate the scene of the crime yourselves if you're curious. Who knows, maybe you'll be able to come up with... Go ahead, have a look around.
So this is the rope that broke and caused the... The rope looks pretty durable. How can it be burned through so quickly by fireworks? Why are you suddenly so serious, Traveler? Whoa. Look! This bit is made from different... Most of it was burned away, but there's still a little bit of it left. Huh. So if a rope meant to hold something... Wait! Why would you write all this... Hello there!
Oh, this location has also been cordoned off because the seats were all booked in advance. So we were able to deduce the missing woman's identity by checking the... Sure, it's not like this is confidential information. We will Her name is Halsey. She's a painter from Fontaine who's made... Apparently, she wasn't a regular at the Opera House, but she'd been feeling some pressure with her work lately. The Magic Troupe members all claim not to know her. We have looked into her social connections. It seems that she has no personal grievances or conflicts of interest with the suspects. Simply put, she wasn't related to the Magic Troupe at all, which matches the features of the previous...
Were the victims of previous cases also chosen at random?
That's how it seems to us, in any case. Apart from the fact that they were all young women of around the same age range, there really weren't any...
Okay then.
No need to be so formal. If you do happen to see them, it is of utmost importance that we get to the...
Why would... Gosh.
The investigation team has some new findings. Turns out there's an issue with the random number select.
See, I told you. What if the machine picked some big guys?
Sorry to interrupt, but we're helping Linny and Lynette with their side of the investigation.
You're trying to help them?
Lenny used the machine to pick a random member of the audience during his performance. Well, we thought there might be a serious problem with the machine.
It turns out that the seat number it picked wasn't random at all. I'm sure you already know that you have to make a reservation in advance to get a seat. In other words, Linny knew.
That much...
Let you see why I was saying it'd be tough to make a case for Linny.
I see that you're investigating the... If you find any new and interesting leads...
We don't have too...
Then why don't I tell you my hypo...
The FUD? Oh, you mean the...
Yes, exactly. It wasn't terrible. It's just that everyone was awaiting the results of Linny's trick with bated breath. So no one paid it much... I'm of the opinion that it may have been the sound of Linny's accomplice. And when the pyrotechnics went off, she cut the rope.
Wait, wasn't the noise we...
Perhaps the balance wasn't right, leading to a particularly rough... Oh, that's true.
That does...
still talking to the guards. It seems... We'll have a lot of explaining to do. I think someone will be assigned to monitor us later, but that's alright.
Hey, you! Yes, both of you!
Huh? You mean us?
That's right. If I'm not mistaken, you're also among those who...
Well, you're right on the more about that one, but who are you?
Have you never heard of the Spina di... From mediating disputes and providing protection to solving conundrums, and I, Navia, have the honor of being its renowned president. Though those who play by our rules call...
I'm Silver, her attendant. Pleased to meet you.
And I'm Melus, Demoiselle's various
Huh? Boss.
Well, I am the second...
My apologies, Demoiselle. Should you prefer...
No need. You don't have to call me boss.
Okay, if you say so.
All merely trifling details. Never mind. That's right. I've always kept an eye on the serial disappearance case. Judging from the look of things...
Really? We think so too. That's what... But how did you come to that conclusion?
Intuition, naturally. My unparalleled intuition. Farina sure was quick to point the finger at Linny without any decisive evidence whatsoever, wasn't she? But that's not uncommon for her. If you remember, the Justice had to interrupt her and ask if she was pressing charges just to keep her from getting carried away. Anyway, a trial begins the moment someone levels charges. And, of course, there was no way Farina was going to back down in that situation.
Sounds more like you just don't trust the Hydro Archon.
Well, what's your opinion? I must admit that she can be interesting at times, but liking her doesn't mean that I'll blindly agree with her. All right, I've answered your question. Now...
Wait a minute, did that...
Well, I say it does. But don't worry, you won't hear... In your opinion, do you think it's right to treat a trial like...
Well...
And why would that be? See,
Most astute of you, Demoiselle. I too, no matter how wonderful the script or how fervent the audiences expect, that if that can be done...
All right, that's quite enough, Malus. Anyway, now, I need to make some preparations. Follow...
Wait! Since when do...
Oh, well, I can be the...
That's more like it.
Far be it from me to brag, but you wish to save a friend from false accusations, and we...
You have a point. And what about you over there? What do you think? You seem like you've got...
I have nothing to add.
Oh.
We'll be making some preparations first. Just be sure to let...
Sorry, but no one can freely enter or exit the Opera House at the moment. If you wish to leave, you must register your identity with us first.
No, we're not leaving. We're representing Linny and Lynette as attorneys, so we're investigating the case. Were you always guarding this entrance?
Yes. After the Chief Justice gave the order, everyone coming. So the missing girl couldn't have left from here. At least, not from that point on. I doubt there was much up.
How can you be so
Well, because I was in charge of security I couldn't see Linny's performance from here. But still, I did not abandon my post. And I stayed put no matter how loud the... We Melazines are good at that sort of thing, you know.
So, it's safe to say that... All right, thank you for your help. This'll be... We've checked everything of note here at the performance venue. Paimon wonders how Linny's discussion with the guards is going. Let's go see, shall we? Ooh, things are getting interesting, huh? We're about to see how magic is made.
Understood. Then I will be going with you.
Very good. Thanks for being so agreeable. I'd pull.
You may spare the pleasantries.
You've arrived. Who's this?
Me? I'm Spina di Rosula's guardian angel. If you've got a problem, I've got the firepower. Sorry, I got a little carried away there. And these are my companions. Would you mind if they...
Fine by me.
Oh, new helpers?
Well, let's just say we're tagging along. It's not every day you get to see the
I appreciate your kind interest. Come with me. We'll be heading below stage.
Huh? Below stage?
Yes, a world of secrets is hidden beneath this magic box, prepared specific. But before I reveal everything, you should have a look first. Notice anything strange here? I'm not trying to be dramatic. Remembering the details of a trick will help you understand the methods you...
Huh. Weren't there...
Ah, good eye. That said, you're still far from discovering the...
The back? You mean the...
Very good indeed. The back of this door was patterned. Those patterns are now gone, replaced by a smooth wooden board. So, if you put 2 and 2 together, what do you get? Exactly.
Oh, so there was a passageway under the magic box!
I knew you'd figure out most of it as soon as you saw. The 2 magic boxes are positioned. See this flatbed trolley? The box with the lucky audience member in it would be shuttled over to the other side using the trolley.
This trolley can raise and lower and even rotate. And sure.
I see. So...
Precisely. The inner box would descend after the audience member was put inside and be moved along.
So that's how you...
Once the box was lowered, the trolley would store some energy through this device here, with which it would complete the rest. The audience member would only be able to feel some slight movements in the dark, and by the...
Right! You were talking...
Ah, yes. A phonograph operated by Lynette was used to achieve that effect. My assistant and I had already scripted our conversation beforehand. When the countdown began,
And what about Lynette? Where was she?
I was in the mezzanine space in the back of the box.
Oh...
That's how we were able to coordinate Linny's lines with the assistant. And, by the way...
I mean, we are twins. All it takes is a change of clothes and no one can tell who's who. And that's my favorite part of this trick.
So that's how it all worked! What?
Lynette would briefly walk out of the box and then go back in, jumping into the tunnel and escaping. And then I walk out of the other box in the audience area. And the trick would be... But as you saw, Cal was in the box, not our audience member. She, on the...
We really don't know how that...
If not for that interlude, this would have been an astonishing trick. And yet, to think that someone... Could we have a look around? I think we can come up with some more leads.
This is the scene of the crime. So Linny and Lynette are not permitted to stay.
Yes, of course. No need to be so strict now.
Thanks, everyone.
Looks like a hook tied to the end of a rope. Huh?
Perhaps it was a prop for a different...
Whatever it is.
The floor is wet. Please be careful not to slip.
Speaking of which, why would there be water here?
Oh! Paimon knows! It's one of those tricks where you pour water into a jug and here's a broken vase.
can't be. The trolley moves. Oh, these are the clothes that the lady. Her clothes are here, but she's nowhere to be.
Right. And do you really need to do that? Ugh. This is so confusing. What is this place?
It seems someone could fit through here.
Alone, perhaps. But if they had to pull it...
But there are no other ways in or out of here. Oh, you're right. Let Paimon write that. Seems we're just about done investigating down here.
Yes, let's head back up. Well, we've ascertained the state of the crime scene. Let's find a place to sort out our findings once Malus returns. It seems to me that there are several things that don't add up here.
Apologies for the wait, demoiselle.
So, what did the guards say? Did the criminal...
They believe the odds of that are very low. The guards have checked the area carefully. No one left through the...
So the tunnels become like a secret chamber then.
The plot thickens. No wonder Farina was so confident in her accusation. All the current evidence...
In other words, the charges are very likely to be upheld unless we make some considerable progress.
Charges and then trial. So if the charges are upheld, they'll announce a sentence?
That's right. This is how a trial goes in the Opera House. During the proceedings, the Chief Justice and the Oratrice will hear statements from both sides. That's right. This is how indemnitium is produced. The statements from both sides, the defenses from attorneys, witness testimonies, and even the audience's emotions will all be projected on the Oratrice. To put it simply, it's as if the Oratrice has its own will, and is a judge in its own right.
This also precludes any kind of favoritism on the part of the Chief Justice.
Once both sides have finished speaking, the Chief Justice will make his final decision. This, too, will be used by the Oratrice as a reference. Then, finally, the Oratrice will be consulted by officials. The result it returns is the will of justice itself.
Huh? So that machine is the one that actually decides? Paimon thought Neverlet called the shots.
In practice, there is very little difference. Both have always come to the same judgment, which is why people have great faith in the Chief Justice. Ah, yes, the guards also asked me to convey that none of us will be allowed to leave this place before the trial.
Huh? Why?
Because we've chosen to act as the twins' proxies. That makes us persons related to the case.
They're concerned that we might be colluding with outside parties, or that we might find outside help to disrupt the case. And even if that were not so, it could prove problematic if we happen to spread key information about the case ahead of time.
I'm ready to break out at any...
Whoa, whoa! There's no need for that!
Of course. I just hope you don't mind the lack of options. I'm afraid that catering to all tastes is not in the cards, nor is any guarantee of balanced nutrition.
In that case, let's just sort out our findings. I mean, what better way to properly think through our...
Huh. Breaking out suddenly doesn't... Just kidding! Just kidding! Paimon will...
What do you mean, no snack?
Huh?
Understood, demoiselle. Everyone, please come with... Yes, I must be prepared to meet the demoiselles.
I have eggs, sugar, and almonds at the...
Good work, you two. Then I'll get to it.
These three are quite the interesting. And Paimon thought it smelled good. From the way you had these two guys carrying all that stuff around, Paimon thought you'd have to, but you ended up doing the entire thing by yourself. Beating the...
I was applauding.
And I was giving encouraging smile.
Paimon was just thinking. Aren't you worried about getting...
Well, I don't think it's carved in stone anywhere that fancy ladies can only read books. Don't underestimate beating egg weights, by the way. It's a real arm workout. You also need to beat anyway. Give these a try. Fresh.
Only through...
Well, eating too many sweet treats might send all that sugar to...
Tea is ready to be served as well. This is no need for concern.
All right, then. Down to business. However, we can assume that Linny and Lynette were not the magician twins could have committed the crime.
Exactly! Why would they do such a thing right when everyone was watching?
The flower vase and the thud we heard during the performance could indicate, resulting in the shattering of the vase, perhaps the criminal thought that since she was chosen from the crowd...
Paimon thinks that makes sense, but the...
True. None of the clues, but the only people left to consider...
Huh. Could Halsey have secretly made modifications to the magic props in order to murder...
That's right. And even if she had tampered with the setup, she would need... Nor does she have any motive. The
Were we not... From the sound of things, this is... Your macarons are amazing, though, Navia.
They are my special...
What? 5? Oh, that can't be right.
Please don't worry about it. At my...
No. Being greedy is one... Besides, Paimon knows that if she ate too many, then others wouldn't have enough. Wait. Even you don't believe If Paimon ate those 2 extra macarons...
All right, we get it. Well, Malus, set up the stove again.
Huh?
Making sure everyone gets 3 macarons, of course.
Exactly. We don't...
As you wish,
And I have the egg
What?
Well, that's it for snack time. I don't know what... It would be awkward if you got...
All right. Thanks for your...
It was nothing. A small task for the Spina di Rosula. Silver, Malus, it's time to go. I'll be back if I find any...
All right.
Benny's adventure team, assemble!
Oh, it's probably gonna be a long and difficult case. There's no point in worrying about that now. We just need to prepare.
Mano, o desaparecimento foi muito estranho. E o jeito que sumiram os macarons, acho que era assim a pronúncia. Eu acho que a Navia só queria demonstrar o truque que usaram para fazer o desaparecimento. E da hora o show de mágica dele. A acusação da Frina também foi muito direta. Que nem eles comentaram. Peraí. Deixa eu ver quantos tem aqui. Só. Beleza. Deixa pra lá. Tem que tirar esse comando. Essa máscara dela.
Even if everyone else is besides, I doubt Farina understands any more about what happened than we...
Thanks, Navia.
Best of luck to you.
O pessoal não dá a mínima pra Farina.
Ah, finally, you're back. Well, how did your...
To be honest?
No.
Well, now, don't you all look That was to be expected, of course. But don't let that stop you. I shall be terribly disappointed.
Since both parties are present, I declare that the trial regarding the Firstly, in order for the audience to understand the causes and results...
Yes, of course. I will explain while Lynette
Thank you, Mr. Linney. In that, you ran to and remained hidden within the magic box in the audience stands once.
Yes, that's correct.
In that case, I call upon the prosecution.
Why, of course I do. Allow me to take the first shot and break this case wide open. Mr. Linney is clearly lying.
E com base em quê?
There is no way you could have been in the box the whole time if you were to abduct Halsey and murder.
That is simply your hypothesis based on the presumption that I'm guilty.
Oh, is that so? And if I may...
The roaring countdown of the crowd, of course. That's how I kept track of the time and built anticipation for the finale.
And you didn't hear anything else at all?
No, nothing.
I see. But when the count reached 30 seconds or so...
Huh?
Hey, hang on.
Yeah, I'm sure he could have heard a noise that loud from inside the box.
I was right by the box, and I definitely heard...
Nossa.
Look at those scales. Could those mean...
Well then, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to... Of course, I have armed myself to do far more than smash your alibi. Confidence cannot go unfounded, and my foundation... Tell me, aren't you and Lynette actually from...
The House of the Hearth?
Nossa, a cara dele.
No wonder they did something.
So the serial disappearances were the Fatsui's doing. Now it
Nossa,
all
já
makes
tomaram como
sense.
verdade já, mano.
I've got a feeling that
Uma
what
simples
happened on
suposição.
stage probably wasn't just a...
That's irrelevant. Our identities have nothing to do with what happened.
Ah, então eles são.
Indeed. Then perhaps you could... Your first priority is to prove yourself innocent after all. I'm sure there is... The Outlander is speechless. My, oh my, don't they look flabbergasted? Now comes the infighting.
Ela se contendo toda.
Good thing I made all those preparations. Seems the all-nighter I pulled last night is really
Será que foi ela que fez tudo
paying
aquilo?
off.
Hey, Linny. What?
Order! Order! Miss First, when the thud was heard in the Opera House, you were neither in the box nor the tunnel. Second, you and... Are these claims... Please answer my...
I'm sorry. Yes, they're true.
Yes.
I knew it.
Well, that's it. We might as well move on to the sentencing already.
Esse episódio é muito fácil.
What should we do now?
Granted. In that case, what is your request?
Is that really necessary? They're all
The defendant deceived their own attorneys.
Order! Your request is reasonable, and we shall adjourn.
So you would stick to Mr. Linney's... In that case, my dear audience, let...
Well, this is awkward. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Paimon, just we based our entire reasoning not to set the wrong tone or anything.
I'm very sorry. I know you've clashed with the Fatui several times before, but our organization is very, very large, and the heart...
Right now, we want to save people.
That's right. I'm sure we're on the same page when it comes to this nation, and I knew if it weren't for our respective identities, that's why I didn't wish to flat out lie to you. The truth is very important, but being completely transparent about everything would see us right. So, you be the judge. You met a Fatus who works as a magician,
That's
a
errado.
trickster by trade. All by coincidence, too. But still, I'm asking you to trust me. I am no criminal.
O período tá maiúsculo. Se não me engano, depois da resistência é maiúsculo.
Sorry. Please forgive us.
Well, you both say that, but... Right. Let's hear...
Of course. I'll answer it. We've been trying to find out how the Oratrice operates. We want to know why it has a consciousness. Why can it deliver scent? During our investigations, we learned that the machines... From that moment on, Lynette and I have been designing this box swap trick, with the objective of getting...
Is that why you needed a whole minute?
That's right. In truth, the audience would take about 75 seconds to count down from 60, while I would only need 15 to get to the So, after jumping into the tunnel, I accessed the opera house.
That air vent was created during the construction of the tunnel, specifically to execute.
Well, nothing. As soon as what should have been impossible, of course, that voice seemed to recognize me and tried to speak to me. I chose
Será
to
que é a mesma
err on
voz
the
que
side of
a gente
caution
ouviu
and
lá na
retreated the
fonte?
way I came. On the way back, I saw the broken vase and the clothes on the ground. After that, the homicide.
Well, that explains why you didn't hear the thud.
Because of that prophecy I told you about, of course. We must know all.
That's the only way we can see.
So, there you have it. It was never my wish to proceed under, but like I said earlier, you can be the judge. If you want.
Well, Traveler, you decide. Paimon will follow your lead however you choose.
Okay.
Thanks for giving us a chance.
The current problem is that the scales are tipped pretty badly against you two. If we want to refute the Hydro Archon's accusations, we're gonna need a serious... Huh?
Será que a mulher que sumiu era Fatua e eles não sabiam?
Both parties have returned to their positions. Let us continue the trial. When last we left off, Mr. Linney acknowledged the new evidence presented by Lady Farina as fact. Therefore, Lady Farina may...
That took long enough. At this stage, let's revisit that scene from Linney's perspective.
Certo. Certo.
As the countdown began, he entered the tunnel. When the flatbed
Certo.
trolley passed, he opened the box and got into an altercation with Halsey, which he did not realize that the sound could be heard by Finally, he used the vase to knock her out before making her change clothes. At this time, Cowell arrived in the tunnel, having heard that strange... So, Linny proceeded to knock him out too, but afterward, Linny passed the unconscious...
Tudo errado.
And there you have it. That's the...
Does the defendant's side have any object? The key to refuting Lady Farina is the order of events.
Eu escolho.
Seems this... According to Linny, he left via the vent after entering the tunnel.
Certo.
Linny went to the room that contains the Oratrice's core.
Ah, o lugar que ele tava. Não teria sangue, alguma coisa assim?
Linny did not take part in the underground altercation.
Attention! When the countdown started, Linny did indeed, but he immediately used a vent to access the Opera House basement. Once he reached that area, he heard a voice in what should have been the crime scene had already developed by the time he reached the top. Finally, he reached the surface, and that was when the...
Ah, quando junta umas partes, o resto se equilibra. Não precisa refutar cada etapa. Tá, já aperto a bolinha ou eu espero? Bolinha.
In other words, You believe that he knew nothing.
That's right!
My
Nossa.
reasoning?
If that's the case, then if Cowell hadn't entered the tunnel, assuming that what you say is true, Linny only needed to kidnap the young girl.
Oh.
That's right,
Sim.
you tell him!
Só chama mais atenção pra ele.
Well, your denial is very strident. Of course I do. If you're saying that he wasn't.
Are you sure we don't need to give this more thought? That's right! Linny wasn't in the box, or this means that when the crime happened, the same clue you used to disprove his alibi has
Toma
now
essa.
become the
Cara.
best proof!
To think you'd use such logic.
Encurralada.
Well then, if it wasn't Linny who committed the crimes, then who was it?
Será que foi a menina que matou?
Halsey is the missing person and an ordinary audience member. Could there have been a third person involved? The deceased's name is Cowell, Linny's assistant. He would have been able to tamper with the equipment.
Não dá pra repetir.
Could there have been a third person in... The deceased's name is Cowell, Linny's assistant.
É, ele era recente no grupo. Será que foi ele mesmo que morreu ou foi um acidente?
That can't be...
Oh, is that...
What I must do next is recreate the truth. What Cowell did, and how he went from would-be No one entered or left the Opera House through its entrances. The deceased's name is Cowell, Linny's assistant. Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel, so there must have been some... The sound we heard may have come from a clash. The deceased's name is Cowell.
Ah, eu errei a sequência lá em cima.
Linny was not in the tunnel at that moment. It would have been tough for both people to fit into that vent. The sound we heard may have come from a clash, but no one entered or left the Opera House through...
Ah, sim que muda. Beleza. Aí.
Halsey's clothing was in the it would have been tough for both people to fit in. Halsey's clothing was
What's wrong, Traveler? Are you still having trouble
I see how it...
Look, since we're at a dead end, just like the trick as it transpired, the end result must...
If only we knew how helpful.
Well, that would be nice, but the tunnel only has... It's not like this is a magic trick where you can just make a real life...
Excuse my interruption, dear opponent.
Água.
If the defense is unable to make further effective arguments, we will move on to the next stage of the trial.
Linny was not in the tunnel at that moment, which gave our criminal ample time. The sound we heard may have come from a clash between the missing Halsey and the The deceased's name is Cowell. Linny... No one entered or left the Opera House through its end. Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel, so the vase was not broken by chance. It was...
Paimon gets it! It all comes together! Lynette escaped from the water tank, vanishing gradually and leaving... If there's a similar method...
Just how could a person ever be transformed into water? Must we really? I should... Magic tricks are ultimately just illusions and...
Even so, the truth must be out there somewhere. Perhaps some new line of... Since Cal was the deceased,
Sim.
we haven't placed much attention on him. But given that we aren't making much progress with the case, it wouldn't...
People really do come up with all sorts of harebrained schemes when at the end of their...
Nevertheless, I believe that this is a reasonable request on the part of an attorney. Since the trial does indeed appear to be at an impasse, I believe that... Guards, please step into the lounge and examine...
Ele é bem justo, mesmo
We
com o
are
Tafurina.
still examining the items, but we have already made... We discovered several test tubes of fluid within Cowell's baggage. The notebook in his backpack claims that these fluids are...
The primordial seed.
The note's contents also indicate that Cowell belonged to an organization that sells illegal
Nossa.
drugs and that he had... The notebook has many entries concerning safe usage of these fluids, in which the keyword
Pra dissolver a menina.
appears many times. One of these tubes was labeled Opera Epiclese. Along the notes also state that these dissolution properties work exclusively on people from Fontaine. It's likely that, as such, we believe that the defense's hypothesis is...
You've got to be kidding! People just...
It's something so ridiculous.
Wait a moment. This reminds me of a certain prophecy, but it's just...
Agora lembraram.
If people can become water, does that mean that the water tank's real use was as a means to hide water stains? And if Cowell was... Just a minute. Could that mean...
Demoiselle, wait! What about your partner?
Let's go.
Order! Order!
Yes.
It is undeniable that further examination of the Still, let us assume that these clues are indeed authentic. Guards, please Mr. Linny, it appears your hypothesis...
Of course. If we uphold this hypothesis, I believe that many of this cases...
Right! Like the metal hook! That one didn't make me... Let's think about this. Cowell's methods must have something to do with that water from the...
The deceased's name is Cowell.
Para controlar o
The
tempo.
water from the primordial sea should already have... Now it seems like the hook rope was not meant for another magic trick, but was instead some... The rope that held the water tank up was lit by the fireworks and snapped. The water from the primordial sea should...
Para controlar o tempo.
The water from the primordial... Now it seems like the hook rope
Ah,
was
tá
not...
assim que inverte.
The rope that held the water tank up was lit by the fireworks and snapped.
Acho que eu tô invertido o
As
gancho
such,
com a corda.
The focus... Lynette was in the magic box on stage the entire... I remember there was something else within... The rope that held the water tank... Lynette was in the magic box on stage the entire time. I remember there was something...
Ahem! It's Ace Detective Paimon's time to shine again! In the original plan, Cowl would tamper with the water tank rope and the number selector securing his target. When the magic box containing Halsey was lowered, the metal hook would retract gradually and pierce the balloon at the top of the box. When the balloon attached to the box popped, the water from the primordial seed inside. Afterward, Cowl would enter the tunnel and break the flower vase to conceal the water inside the tunnel. But he encountered something unexpected in the tunnel.
Huh. That does make sense.
That actually links together.
Oh dear, what do I do? Even I think...
Now, it seems like the only point of contention his notes mentioned he had an accomplice who could be related to this.
On that note, the guards have just contacted me indicating that they uncovered... I shall now invite him on stage.
Thank you, Your Honor. We were just inspecting the luggage, and we found an identical sample of the water from the primordial sea among Linny's...
What?
That can't be. Does this not click, my dear citizens?
Como?
Linny
Ele não
did
sabia que
not
era
mean
água
to
na
take
frente,
part in the dissolution of the young woman at all. Having made modifications to the props beforehand, his accomplice Cowl then caused Halsey to bet upon his return in cruel avarice. Linny desired. Ultimately, he knocked Cowl out, and the tool meant to cover the crime. Now, as much as I regret having come to such a... Am I right?
We've used up all the evidence we collected. Is this the end of the...
Oh no! Paimon can... seems using the water as new evidence was too good.
I think we've all seen enough. I believe this is indeed... Now then, my good...
Excuse me, everyone.
Miss, I must ask you not to shout.
Oh, come on. Don't be hasty. I have a good reason for interrupting, you know. Now, would anyone here like to... I'll show you an amazing trick. One that can bring a young woman who has disappeared... What in...
No offense, miss, but miracles like that are beyond...
Come on now, don't be silly. Magic is all about misdirect. But once everyone believes the illusion, can't magic reveal the truth to them? And wouldn't
Só que eles acharam a
be
minha
the most
dissolvida?
marvelous finale to today's performance? Come on, Lenny and Lynette, give it another go. But as the magic makers and stars of the show,
I understand.
And voila!
Sorry.
Wait, isn't that Halsey?
To be clear, I'm only here because this person told me that if I testified, the merit of doing so would lessen. I was hiding outside this room listening to the proceedings because I was afraid that I was just feeling happy that no one had noticed me.
that'll teach you to...
Where should I begin? Firstly, my name isn't Halsey. It's Lil. I heard that Linny's show was gonna be a real thriller, but that's how I make a living. I steal stuff here and there. But I was noticed at the harbor a few days ago, and I barely got away.
Hey! No wonder you look familiar. Liddy even mentioned that you were...
Well, and I thought that would have been the end of it, but then the number selector chose me. He even mentioned the Fortress of Meripede. That's a prison, isn't it? So you can imagine how shocked I was. So I played along with the show while looking for an opening to flee. But then I got water poured on me for no reason, and then someone jumped into the tunnel. I wasn't going to take that lying down, so I knocked him out. There was nowhere to run from there, though, so I had to change my clothes and hide in a box containing... I slipped out after the first guard arrived at the scene and continued...
Can a person even hide in there?
But I swear, I didn't know that the water... Had I known that, I wouldn't have put him in the magic box.
Well, that makes everything pretty clear now,
This time, we need to tell the... The strange sound wasn't from a fight. It was... The flower vase was not broken to cover anything up, but it was... Lillian was afraid that she would be recognized if she left.
And it's Having been selected out of the blue, her panic only intensified after she entered the tunnel and had water. Hearing the commotion, Cowell leapt into the tunnel, only to he did not know that Lillian was not from Fontaine, but was a thief, mistakenly believing that the water from the primordial sea needed time. The two broke the flower vase during the struggle, but Lillian came out on with no way of escaping. She changed her clothes and hid in the costume.
Então com isso pegaram o assassino? Sequestrador, não sei exatamente o que seria.
She knew that she would have to go through guard inspection if she tried.
She had already become desperately hungry by the time we were chatting over macarons.
Por que os macarons sumiram?
She swiped two of them right under our nose.
At this point, all the events.
Ah, so that... Bravo!
Now then, Lady Farina, do you wish to speak again? Please answer the question, Lady Farina. Also, if I may add, the trial has not yet ended.
What? Are you reading my... No. I have no further...
Wow! Look at that!
If there are no objections, then as the Chief Justice of Fontaine, the actual perpetrator of the serial disappearances, Cowell, with some modifications to the selector, he couldn't to cover up any evidence while committing the deed. Cowell thought of allowing the water tank to fall, which would conceal the water left behind after the young... He also tampered with the rope suspending the water tank, using the fireworks at the end of the performance to cause the tank to drop. He poured the water from the primordial sea into a balloon during the preparation of the magic. Finally, he passed the prepared hook on a rope through the gap in the magic box's door. When the magic trick officially began, the box containing the woman was lowered into the tunnel, tightening the hook rope and bursting the balloon. If all had gone to plan, the young woman would be dissolved at this time. However, Lillian was not from... Realizing that there was trouble, Cowell entered the tunnel and met Lillian, thinking that the waters had... However, his opponent was more capable than he thought, and he was overcome, knocked unconscious. Lillian, according to her own statements, then changed clothes and hid until the performance ended. As for Linny, he was in the underground structures within the opera. From this reconstruction of events, while there is much in Linny and Lillian's conduct that should still be investigated separately, this case at least can be handed over to the Oratrice to make the final decision.
Como que essa coisa funciona?
As such, Linny and...
Great work.
Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Next, I think we did... How did you find the water from the prime...
Right! Your discovery caused me to make a serious mistake.
I suspect that the accomplice mentioned in Cowell's notes was not Linny, but you, yes? I'm sure you know what you must do to lessen your...
Speak quickly! Unless you want to earn yourself a one-way...
We were supposed to place blame for the serial disappearances onto Linny, and thus cause suspicion to fall on the Fatui.
And now that your plan has fallen through, and the secrets of the water, therefore you would be wise to tell everything...
Yes, our boss discovered that the water can cause... It can also be made into a potion, which when extremely diluted, can cause people to experience... We've been in this business for a while now, and have made decent more off it.
Nossa! Será que no capacete tinha água?
And now he can no longer talk.
Such ruthlessness.
An outrageous act. All present, please submit to inspection immediately.
Que da hora, os robôs.
So, we're just going back now? That's...
Traveler, Paimon! Please wait.
Winnie...
I know you may not want to speak to me right now, but still. Let me thank you again for defending me to the end, I guess. But I didn't approach you with any ulterior motives or ill intent. As for why I'm a Fatus, it's because the goals of the House of... That was how Father, who you might know as the Knave, approached recruiting us back then too.
The Knave?
Ah,
the one
Arlie.
who controls the House of the Hearth? She's your father?
That's right. And since we're here, I was back when our parents first died. To survive, I took to surreptitiously observing an older... I took my sister through several streets until we found a crowded... To my surprise, we proved to be pretty popular. And we could at least stop worrying about where our next meal would come from for a time. Before long, an aristocrat came to me and claimed that...
So you went from orphans to nobility?
That was how we felt at first too. As if fate was on... But I gradually discovered that while we were called foster children, he would constantly take me to all sorts of banquets to garner attention.
That doesn't seem too bad either.
It took a while for me. After one particular performance at a banquet, I waited a long time after we returned home, but she didn't. The answer he gave me was, she caught the eye of the most eminent person at the banquet, so I sent her over as a...
Oh no. So but...
As far as outsiders are concerned, this is a relationship akin to adoption or foster care. I managed to ferret out the location of the mansion of that so-called eminent person, and all I saw was the moonlit ground covered in blood, and the Knave standing there in the darkness.
So, she'd already...
That's right. She had rescued my sister before she could come to any harm, and had even discovered several girls hidden in a basement. Father, I mean, the Knave, might have seen something in me. The House of the Hearth welcomes you, for your interests align with ours. I was hesitant to trust her, but she was also quick to destroy the noble who had taken us in at first.
Oh, so that's how the two of you joined the House of the Hearth?
She has her own plan. She has gained permission from the Tsaritsa to first use the Gnosis' power when she obtains it. She plans to use it to find a way to break the prophecy and save Fontaine.
So, she believes...
That's right. The whole House of the Hearth. Today's case has also proven that people from Fontaine can indeed... Everyone at Hotel Bouffe d'été, including the Knave, has their roots in Fontaine. To us orphans, the only connection...
So, from small deeds like distributing magic pockets to huge schemes like stealing...
It's all right. I understand. I just hope you can... If you should need anything at all in the future, feel free to find me.
Bye, Linny!
Reviravolta mágica. Oh, gostei, mano.
Hey there. What was with the disappearing act you pulled right as the trial ended?
Were you looking for us, Navi?
Well,
This whole thing isn't exactly over, is it? I do feel that we're getting closer to huh? What's wrong, my dear partner?
Besides, and given that there's new evidence from the
Ah, I see. Well, I won't lie. Sorry.
Don't say that.
Aw, and we were having so much fun investigating with you, too. It was like having new waters flowing into us. Wait, shall we have a farewell meal?
Huh? Do we really need to?
Well, I'd just like to have a proper ending to every important memory. That way there are no regrets later. Anyway, it would just be a meal, so it shouldn't take up too much of your time.
You don't have to twist Paimons on.
Oh, wonderful. In that case, why don't we return to the Court of Fontaine and head to the Hotel de Bourg? I believe we'll make it just in time for dinner.
All right then, let's have our farewell.
$1.400 pra ferraria. Recupera suas forças toda segunda às 4 da manhã. Vou achar que isso é nice. Curso de Fontaine.
Ad Astra. Thank you for completing today's commission. Ad Astra.
Esqueci disso. Tá no mapa, então acho que eu não tenho acesso ainda. Vou pro desencargo. É. Não lembro se é quando termina as missões principais. Nunca prestei atenção nisso.
I came here several times with my father when I was little, but stopped eating here as often after growing up. I hope the food here will be to your taste.
Oh, don't worry. We haven't eaten at a hotel like this.
In that case, I'll go order.
Ooh, everything looks so good.
Why, of course. Go ahead, try whatever you like. If the food's...
And if it's...
Well,
Yeah. Oh, we called this a farewell meal, but we could also treat...
Oh, true. Very true.
Huh? Paimon didn't... Speaking of cases...
Tá virando uma reunião de negócios.
That the mastermind behind the serial...
Well, we've certainly taken a big step forward, but I feel that's about it. We know that there's an organization that means...
If it hadn't happened right in front of us...
Right? Yet it was because this was such a
If only that guy could have finished speaking!
In such investigations, even the smallest step can seem... To be honest, I don't have high hopes for any follow-up that the authorities... It's not that I don't have faith in their ability. It's just... It's easy to guard it, which is exactly why the Spina di Rosule... Those highfalutin...
Seems...
It's all right. Well, let's talk about something else. Like, what are your...
That's true. We didn't have a chance...
I see. So, your prime... I've heard that there's a long line of people waiting to meet Lady for...
Yeah. We've heard that she's super...
Well, but you can...
Guess that's Spina di Rosula's boss for you. Chock full of sketchy ideas.
Well, one way would be to infiltrate a performance troupe at the Opera House, only to abandon your act. I'm sure Lady Farina would be eager to see the ending, and would agree.
Could you suggest something a little more practical? This plan.
All right, here's another. Find a way to conceal yourselves under her. I can personally testify that this one works. When I'm sleepy, I'll do anything as.
That might work.
Ah, valid point. I overlooked that part. All right, no more joking around. You did defeat her in court, clearing citizens of hers from false accusations. False accusations she had nearly upheld.
You mean that if we catch her while she's on a break, she might be too embarrassed to refuse? Oh, why don't we give it a try?
Huh?
Was this your... Sorry about...
No, it's fine.
Alright. Honestly, Paimon wouldn't recommend Fonta anyway. It tastes kind...
Is that so? Huh. Well, if we're all finished eating, then...
Yeah, we're still...
Ao contrário, quando era com o que a gente pagava tudo.
Oh, so full. Paimon can barely float anymore. Can't you see Paimon's barely...
Okay. As for...
Hey, Navia! What are you...
Oh, nothing. It was just a meal, you know? Nothing the Spina di Rosula can't cover. So this is goodbye, huh? Well, if you do encounter any other trouble in Fontaine... in any case, I wish you smooth...
Lembrei da Mona agora. Espera o teleporte ali na frente. Que da hora a posição dele. Ah, tá ali. Ele tá... Ué, eu fazer o teleporte, não percebi. Por aqui já era. Nem vi se eu ganhei selo. 28 não. Hidróculo também não. Acho que é isso. Fazer uma pausa limitada, era.